All right. This one, Adam, this one's called Heartland, which I thought was appropriate to start with a song called Heartland. So here we go. Okay. I thought maybe I scared you away with the smooth jazz.
Well, you certainly did, but I will stay, I suppose.
Welcome to Show Choir. That was called Heartland off of the same Elevator Music album we were listening to last week. We're in the Midwest, so we want to keep it thematic here. Um, how's it going? We are
It's
recovering from a long, long show choir weekend, and we have a lot of cool things to talk about. And the first thing I want to know about, because I purposely not asked you about this at all, but please tell me everything about Hamilton.
well, Alexander Hamilton was born in, no, I'm just kidding. I got to go to Hamilton. The musical, I mean, if you've listened to the soundtrack, it is a million times better seeing it live. I got to see almost all of the original cast. The only person that wasn't there was David, who plays Lafayette and Jefferson. But his understudy is mind-blowingly amazing, just like David is. Um, our seats were in the back, but the theater is intimate enough where any seat in the entire thing is perfect. Like you just feel like you have a great seat. The music obviously is amazing. The soundtrack literally has everything in well, I should say the opposite. The show only has like 30 seconds of music that is not on the soundtrack. So what you're listening to on the soundtrack is pretty close to what you see, except there's like two moments of like music, little tiny solos that will like take your breath away because you've never heard it before, and it's just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was phenomenal. The performers are just spellbinding. I cried about 3 times. I had to like silence myself at the end because I started to blubber, which I say is like that cry where you're trying to control it, but you have no control over the sounds you're making. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
it almost probably looked like I was getting ready to throw up, but like I was just very, and the ending's emotional if you've listened to the musical. So it was mind blowing. I'm so glad I did it. We got in and out of New York in 24 hours right before the snow hit, so it was perfect.
Yeah,
Perfection.
I can't believe your timing weather-wise. And I'd like to
Yeah.
know, you cried 3 times, so what are the moments? What were the 3 moments?
Um. Okay. So the first moment that I started tearing up was the death of Hamilton's son. Uh, there was some text that was said that got me, and the song that he sings with his mother got me. Um, the next part I teared up at. Before that was Washington's Goodbye, who the actor for Washington is Christopher Jackson, and he sings and is it. I can't even form words. It was so powerful, and live in person, I just was I teared up then, and then at the very end, um, with Eliza singing about the things that she does after Hamilton's gone. And of course, when Hamilton is in the duel, like I got teary when Lynn was doing his little rap chant soliloquy thing. But yeah, those are the moments that I cried.
So pretty much the whole thing, and especially
Uh,
Act
all
2.
3 hours. All 3 hours. Yep.
Wow, that's awesome, buddy. I'm very jealous, and I think a lot of people watching are probably jealous as well. But group tickets are on sale in Chicago, so if I can get, 19 more people, let's go.
Yeah.
Um, that's awesome. So this weekend I was at Marysville's competition, critique judging, and I saw a lot of really great groups, had a lot of fun, sang a lot with people, and worked on some things. And I have to say, Wheaton Warrenville show was really, really fun. I told them that if they ever needed a Waluigi, that I am available. So that offer still stands, Wheaton. Maybe if we get like 5,000 followers on Twitter by the time we get to Wheaton, I'll go to Wheaton as Waluigi. Does that sound like a fair bet?
I think that sounds awesome.
I think I just see myself as an 1800s trained villain anyway. So I think I would fit. I could play Waluigi. So anyway, it was a fun day. I didn't get to see all the groups. I didn't get to see Solon, which I was bummed about. In the critique rotation, I didn't see them, and then in finals, I didn't see them because they were right before Marysville, and I was with Marysville in warm up. But I was real proud of my Chesterton kids and my Marysville kids who put on great shows, and it was an awesome panel. It was a really fun panel. We had people from all over the place, people I haven't seen in a long time. I met Bubba in person for the first time. He's been a guest on the show. He's a riot. We had a lot of fun hanging. So it was a
Who
good
else was
weekend.
on the panel for the people that don't know?
Katie Coons from Indianapolis and Rich, what is his last name? I can't think of his last name, from OSU, and Bubba and April James, and then Jonathan Shu did vocals, and then we had Randy Sage was doing video critique, Shane Coe and I did critique. So it was a whole group of people. It was cool.
Cool. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yes, and I avoided getting abducted by Marysville, which is, if you've seen their show, uh, that would make sense. But
Okay, I haven't seen
um,
their show, so
yeah, all right. Their show is outer space themed, so they have aliens, they have these really cool space helmets. Yeah, it's a whole thing. They did great.
sweet.
So tell me about your weekend.
I was at Johnston's Invitational, their 20th annual Johnston Showzam. I was filling in my former role at Muscatine. Their new assistant is out of the country, so I kind of stepped in, and it was their first contest of the season, and they ended up making finals. So yeah, it was really exciting. They went early in the schedule in the prelims, so I got to see tons of groups. I got to see all the finals in the day as well as the night. I, of course, was with Muscatine in warm up and such, and then went to the sound guy, and they have a million solos. So that was an experience, but he did an amazing job. And then afterwards, I just sat and watched the rest of the finalists go. They were first in finals. So I got a really, really amazing dose of show choir this weekend. From a lot of great groups. So yeah, it was a
What were
14-hour show choir day.
Yeah, yeah. I still am like trying to snap out of it a little bit. What were some of your favorite moments from the day?
There, man, I got to see Norwalk Show Choir, which is one of Baint's groups. I've seen them over the years. They're just slowly taking these steps up, and this year just seemed like they're jumping up, and they're like this fully formed show choir, which is cool to see. They were close to making finals, so that was great. Got to see Waukee and got to see Ankeny Centennial again. Both have taken their shows to new levels, specifically Centennial. They've done a lot of work on their show, and the soloists have just are sounding better than ever. The show just flows a lot better. The acting, the whole thing. I mean, they swept the entire competition, and it was well deserved. Waukee has obviously done their homework too. Yeah, I mean, those were two great moments. Dowling Catholic in Des Moines. I don't think a lot of people outside of Iowa might know about them, but they're like this tight show choir. The vocals are superb. The choreography is cleaner than, I mean, most show choirs out there. They travel a lot outside of the state and don't compete a lot, but they had some really beautiful moments too. And Ankeny Visual Adrenaline place, I think they surprised a lot of people, but deservedly so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of shout outs to read before we dive into results. So thank you guys for all the retweets. But we got 43 this week, which is about twice as many as last week. So I'm going to dig through some of these. So shout outs to Connor, the Elgin Energizers, Stone M. Snowden, very specific, Diego, Storm, Maddie, Susia, Dominic, Tyler, Rose, Lindsay, Sam, Caroline, Corey, RCR Show Choir, Show Band Community, Brianna, Aubrey, Steve, Chip, Lisa, Steven, Lyle, Hannah, Kyler, Justin, Marshall, Corey, Sam, Jake, Haley, Noah, Jared, Spencer, Alex, Patrick, hi guys, Maggie, hi Maggie, Sawyer, Laurel, James, Wichita Flight, Hallie, and Ryan. And there's a couple other people that didn't do the straight up retweet. Let me find it. Oh, Eileen. Hi, Eileen. Thank you. And there was one other. I'll get it. I will not leave you behind. Oh, it was. It's buried in the mentions, and now I'm losing it. Oh, I can't find it. I'll find it. Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. So lots of shout outs today. And now we have a whole load of results. I'm sure it was a very busy weekend.
We do, and we're starting off at Lebanon. 7th place was Bluffton. 6th place was Marion. 5th place was Monrovia, which I've never heard of that show choir before. Give us a show choir name. I need to know right now. Tweet it to us. 4th place, Crawfordsville. 3rd place, Southwestern. 2nd place, Austin with Best Choreography. And 1st place with Best Vocals and Best Band, South Dearborn. Down in Jackson Prep competition down in the South, show choir is starting up. 5th place, West Jones Girls Group. 4th place, Grenada with Best Choreography. 3rd place, Jackson Academy. 2nd place, West Jones. And 1st place with Best Vocals, Homewood. At Mount Vernon, there was a tie for 3rd place between Joplin and Battle High School. There was 2nd place with Best Choreography, Carthage, and 1st place with Best Vocals, Parkway Central. At the Dallas Center Grimes Invitational, 5th place, Underwood. 4th place, Emmitsburg. 3rd place, Bishop Heelan with Best Vocals. 2nd place, Bishop Lures. And I skipped down. 2nd place, Des Moines Christian with Best Choreography. Bishop Lures was not in Iowa. 1st place was Pella with Best Band and their awesome Star Wars show. There's a picture, too, on showchoir.com that everyone should see on the front page this week that has some of their costumes, which is pretty cool. At the Twins Lake Invitational, 5th place, New Palestine. 4th place, Edgewood Prep Group. 3rd place, DeKalb. 2nd place, Bishop Lures. They were at this one. 1st place with best vocals and best choreography, Edgewood. At the Ralston Invitational out in Nebraska, you had 6th place, Prep Group. 5th place, Lewis Central. 4th place, Sioux Falls Roosevelt. 3rd place, Omaha West Side Girls Group. 2nd place, Des Moines Roosevelt. And 1st place with best vocals and best choreography. And I think they snagged best band too, but I'm not sure. Omaha West Side, the amazing Technicolor Show Choir. This is the 2nd year in a row that all 3 of their groups have made finals. So congrats to Omaha West Side on that one. Another shocker, not shocker, but a surprise here for sure is Des Moines Roosevelt placing 2nd. Really, over the last decade, I think Roosevelt has only made finals at some places a handful of times, and this is huge over another program, Sioux Falls Roosevelt, who was 4th place. So I asked one of the judges, like, hey, what's up? Like, Des Moines Roosevelt kind of came out of nowhere, and he said, and I quote, "They were damn good. Really entertaining. Band was so effective. Amazing soloists, and specifically one amazing solo that he hadn't heard this good of a solo in a long time, and beautiful ladies tone, and that they certainly deserve 2nd place." So it's going to be kind of exciting to see what comes out of Des Moines Roosevelt this season. Moving on down to Pleasant Hill, Missouri, where they took 8 finalists this year instead of the 6 that they did last year, 4 from the large school group. 8th place was Hannibal, 7th place was Smith Cotton, 6th place was Oak Park, 5th place was Jefferson City, 4th place was Atchison, 3rd place was Harrisonville, 2nd place was Rockbridge's girls group, who snagged best choreography, and 1st place was Rockbridge's varsity group, who got best vocals and best band. So kudos to that school. Mike Pearson's awesome. Their director is really nice, and they always do some pretty cool shows down there. Milton, Wisconsin, 6th place, Reedsburg, 5th place, Neenah, 4th place, John Hersey, 3rd place, Sauk Prairie, 2nd place, Fort Atkinson with best band and with best vocals and best choreography, Janesville Craig, shout out to good buddy Adam Miller. Carroll, final results from Indiana, 5th place, Columbia City, 4th place, Northrop, 3rd place with best choreography, ETC, 2nd place, Anderson, and 1st place with best vocals, Churubusco. Noted on this competition, ETC, their director, Brian Detweiler, you got to keep an eye on this kid. He is still in college, and he is directing 2 competitive show choirs, and he also helps choreograph the shows. That's pretty amazing. So shout out to Brian, and shout out to the ETC kids. That's awesome. Altoona, Wisconsin, 6th place, Colby, 5th place, Chippewa Falls, 4th place, Toma, 3rd place, Bloomington Jefferson, 2nd place with best vocals and best band on Alaska, and 1st place with best choreography, Bloomington Kennedy. This one certainly caught the attention of a lot of people, but great job to all those groups. Out in Nebraska at Millard West, 6th place, Grand Island, 5th place, Papillion La Vista, 4th place, Millard North, 3rd place, Waconia, 2nd place with best choreography, Elkhorn South, and 1st place with best vocals and best band, Urbandale Studio 2016. Out your way, at the Marysville competition, you had 6th place, Marion Harding, 5th place, Ross, 4th place, Chesterton, 3rd place, Solon with best vocals and best band, 2nd place, Beaver Creek, and 1st place, Wheaton Warrenville with best choreography, giving their Super Mario show. Alex, do you have any words of tidbits of info from that contest?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you get that result by kind of having a split vocal side of the panel, and 2 judges had Solon in 1st, I believe, and the other vocal judge had Solon, I believe, 3rd. The choreography judges had them, I think, 5 and 6. So the results, like when you read the results, that gets your attention a little bit. That's not a prototypical result, but with the difference of opinion on the panel and the vocal I mean, you know, they won 2 of the 3 vocal judges over, but yeah, that's how that ends up like that. But I just remembered, huge shout out to Beaver Creek for putting together such a solid show. I think this is the best I've ever seen them. And they were fantastic in critique. Like, they were such nice kids and such awesome listeners, and it made it really fun. And their show is really, really cool. And Shane Coe and Randy Sage did a great job choreographing it. And yeah, it's just a really, really neat show. They're singing really well. They're gonna be really good as this year goes on. And that second place finish is among a lot of really good groups. So shout out to them. They were fantastic and a very pleasant surprise. That was
And
cool.
doesn't Sam Chenoweth choreograph Ross?
Yes, and Ross's show, Adam, you would love. It's a theme show that kind of has a storyline through it. It's kind of about this girl is growing a tree, and there's like kind of a dark force that's going against it. It's really interesting. It's a little out there, but in the best way. And the choreography is really open. And there's a lot of stillness, but it's used really well. It's really creative. Like, it was definitely the most interesting show to me in finals. Yes, I didn't see everybody. I did hang with Chesterton, and I did hang with Marysville and warm up, so I didn't see all of finals. But yeah, shout out to Ross. They were fantastic, and they were super creative, really cool. It was more like a California show. It was very creative. So yeah, shout out to them too.
Cool.
Moving
All
on.
right, back to Johnston, Iowa. Sixth place was Muscatine, Iowa. Fifth place was Papillion La Vista South. Fourth place was Dowling Catholic. Third place was Ankeny. Second place was Waukee. And the grand championship with best vocals, best choreo, and best band goes to Ankeny Centennial. And then finally, at the Crete Moni competition, fifth place went to Fairfield Middle School. Fourth place went to Fairfield with best band. Third place went to Mount Zion. Second place went to Troy. And first place with best vocals and best choreography went to Wheaton North Flight. Lifting off there. Congratulations to Flight. That's awesome. That's their first win of the season. And also congratulations to Troy Buchanan. I can't think of, I haven't heard much about Troy in the last few years. And, you know, in the early, late 90s and the early 00s, they kind of were big and well-known, but they've kind of, you know, not been so loud lately. And this is a huge splash back onto the scene. I'm hearing great things from their assistant, Bobby Picker, and Steven is on board choreographing down there. So that's really exciting for those kids.
Yeah, and Fairfield is incredible this year. So to finish above them is very exciting for them. So yeah, congrats. Fairfield is singing like crazy. So I can imagine they're at a really high level. That's awesome.
That's great. And that is your competition wrap-up for the third show choir weekend of 2016.
All right. I can't believe we're already almost through January.
Yeah, it's nuts. Wait, that was the fourth weekend? Fourth weekend. Yes.
Yeah. Was it the fourth?
It was, because Ankeny Centennial was the first weekend. The second weekend was...
Oh, yeah. No, this is the third.
Is it?
Centennial, Muscatine, Marysville.
Okay, yeah, third. Sorry.
I'm looking at like my calendar, but yeah, and then next weekend we'll both be at Bloomington Kennedy, right?
We shall, yes. I will be there watching, and you will be there critique judging.
Yes. Oh yes. And Mall of America ing.
Ugh, gross. We don't get to watch the Super Bowl there this year. It's the next weekend.
Oh man, the most fun Super Bowl I've ever had. Just all the show choir, all the judges were snowed in, and we all just watched the Super Bowl together, and it was the funniest halftime show I've ever seen.
Halftime show ever. Katy Perry, yeah.
Like my favorite moment on Twitter of all time was the halftime show last year. So we got some emails from people with some reviews about thoughts from this weekend, and Adam has kind of condensed them, and we have some things to talk about, so go for it.
Yeah. So Hope said that she watched the live stream of Marysville, and she loved Wheaton Warrenville South show. It was incredible, unique, and it amazed me that those boys kept their mustaches on through the entire thing.
Right.
Kyler from Cedar Rapids Prairie headed to Johnston finals. He said he loved Muscatine show concept, as always. That's really sweet of you. Visual Adrenaline is definitely getting back to where they left off in 2013. He says Waukee has already made changes to all of their solos, making their show even better, then finished the night with Centennial leaving me absolutely speechless. And then he went on to say that he sat behind me the entire time and he didn't say hello. So I'm a little salty about that, Kyler, and I'm pointing that out here now that you should have said hello. But thank you for leaving me in peace. I don't know. I wanted people to say hi to me, but I guess people are afraid of me.
No one said hi to me either. I'm so sad. They're probably right behind me.
No one watches the show, apparently.
Yeah, no one watches the show. That's really what it boils down to.
And then we've got Lucas, who was at Rockbridge. He kind of gave some synopsis of some shows. Oak Park has an immortal Hollywood theme. Jefferson City does Mary Poppins. The Rockbridge mixed group who won the competition. I said Rockbridge. They were at Pleasant Hill. Rockbridge mixed group does An American in Paris. Then he said, this was kind of a weird happening. One thing that really will stick with me is when Rockbridge City Lights, which is the girls group, was performing in prelims. Had a performer pass out on stage during their ballad, which was an all a cappella. Their director ran from the back to help while the entire group kept performing, not going out of tune or losing facials. They just performed through what was happening. The young performer was helped off stage by the director, but wait, for the final two numbers, it was the mixed group. The guy who passed out not more than 3 minutes before executed his costume change and performed the rest of the show without missing a step. Truly amazing to me.
Wow. Like an award that we give out every week to whoever, I don't know, for whatever reason, that would get them a Show Choir Live Medallion of Honor. That is insane.
Yeah, they would get it's called the Climb Award at SCA. That would be awarded to that person.
Yeah, that is a fantastic video. We need to tweet that video out. If you guys haven't seen the Climb at SCA from 2010?
I mean, it was a long time, and it has to do with Jonathan Shu.
Yes, it does. That's one of the best stories. Basically, this girl, I mean, she had to have been in junior high. She made talent show.
13.
Yeah, which is really difficult to do at SCA. She makes talent show, and her CD, she's singing to a track, and her CD keeps skipping and skipping and skipping and skipping, and finally she just gives up and starts singing the song. And about halfway through, the stage crew comes running out with a grand piano, and Jonathan Shu is playing behind it, and he's like, he doesn't even know the song, but he's listening to her and just making stuff up on the fly, and she absolutely knocks it out of the park. But wow, I've never heard of anybody passing out in a show and then doing the costume change and then finishing the show. So shout out to that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the final comment, well, it was more of kind of a critique of the results at Johnston, the competition I was at. And I've cut a lot of it out because it's kind of just, I mean, it doesn't get anyone anywhere. But I think we need to touch on the last part. They say Ankeny Centennial is very good, but I think they are changing the Midwest show choir we know and love. Too many theatrics. I just like a message to be conveyed with facials, vocals, and other means. I take a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot, this idea that, theatrical shows, story shows, this is some like not a good thing, and that this is changing what show choir is in the Midwest. Talk about it. Like, there are a lot of groups doing a lot of different things nowadays, and I think that's an awesome thing. Just last week, there was something on one of those awful internet accounts where you can say anything you want and bash groups, bash people, whatever. It was posted, Midwest Show Choir isn't even Midwest Show Choir anymore. Everyone using props and theatrical shows to get by. My friend, Steph Hyatt, choreographer in the show choir world, she tweeted that back and said, show choir isn't a real thing. It's an educational art form that can take any shape we want it to. Embrace that. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. Show choir is a moldable, living thing that can be taken in so many different directions. I think students, directors, certain people need to get out of their minds that show choir is just one thing and that their view is the only way, What's your thought on this, Alex?
I mean, show choir has been evolving in a lot of different ways, especially, I kind of feel like since 2008, I mean, since the Burroughs Circus show, and maybe even before then, people have been doing themes and trying, other formats for a long time. So, the fact that there's a theatrical show or, something that has a story arc, or I don't get the complaint of the use of props. That's just silly. But if it makes sense for the song, it makes sense for the song. But I mean, it's been changing for a long time, and it's done nothing but good things. And I think we've had some fits and starts with like what works and what doesn't. But I mean, it's all part of the conversation, and it's always going to evolve. It's never going to stick to a certain script. And when story shows were first really coming onto the scene in the Midwest, like back when like Wheaton was doing Wizard of Oz, and people were saying, oh well, this is how it's going to be forever now, like it's always going to be story shows. And people try different things every year, like so there's no one way of doing it. And sometimes things can get complicated because you only have 17 minutes to tell a story. And so to tell a story like in that time, you really have to be clear and slow things down as much as you can and use costuming to tell a lot of it. And, there's a lot of things you can do, but it doesn't make it bad. I just don't get why the turnoff like that, instead of just taking it for what it is. If you like pieces of it and you don't like the whole thing, fine. But I don't get the like people taking, I don't know, I don't get the negativity, I don't get the negative reaction to it.
Yeah, I mean, story shows have been around since like the 80s. People were starting to put concept shows together. Alan Chapman with Fort Madison in the 90s, they had a baseball set that they did, the opera show that Cedar Rapids Jefferson did. There's lots of examples of it all the way back then. It's really taken off now in the last decade. Obviously, lots and lots of groups are, using story, loosely based thematic shows. But you still see plenty of, 5-song roulette, as I call it, shows as well, done just as well. I like that, variety. I like going to a competition and seeing a group like, what Bonzi Valley or Waukee get on a stage and, do 5 songs that might not have correlation to each other and just sing, dance, and, do great things. I love seeing a story show. I know that the Muscatine kids invest so much more in a themed story than just a regular show. And I feel like that's the same thing for many groups. The director kind of knows best, like, okay, is this going to be a year where my kids can tell a story, or is this a year where they just can get up on stage and perform and just live and, be awesome? And I definitely agree. I don't think there's any negative connotation that should be had with it at all. And it's sad that it keeps being brought up.
It keeps
online.
coming up as this like one side versus the other. And I think everybody's better for both of those. I mean, or any format, not even just both of those, but all of the formats existing is a good thing. And like if you were at Marysville or watched the live stream, like there was a lot of different styles of show choir in there. And I think, taking the night show as like an entertainment package, I think that makes it all the stronger. And it's good for kids, and it's good for kids to see different types of like creative processes. And it's good for kids to experience different types of creative processes. So yeah, I don't see the beef. I don't get it.
And some of these opinions are, just kind of, I feel like, not well formed from, students who may not have a lot of experience in the show choir world, but it also is probably a trickle down from adults as well. Be careful the things that you say. Children will listen. Like, we need to stop. And I don't say we because I am like the universal show choir hug. I love all different kinds of show choir. I love seeing everything. I think some people need to get out of this mentality of it's my way or the highway. So, but yeah, that's all some of the highlights of what we received in emails this week. So keep sending us those competition updates, because obviously we can't be everywhere, and we love hearing about other places and what's going on.
Yeah, it's nice to have that first person account and to have like some of those stories, like the guy passing out, and like, not that that was nice that he passed out, but it was a cool story. I'm glad we got it. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I'm just looking at our tweets to see if we had any.
I was kind of checking Twitter too. I mean, are people preferring one type of show over another, or like, are you finding ways to appreciate all different kinds of stuff, or does it not really matter to you? I don't know. Let us know what you think about that topic. And yeah, you can tweet us at Show Choir Live.
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to respond. So Christopher Jones says, probably my favorite thing ever. Show choir is an ever-changing thing. Quoted by you, Alex All. I totally agree, he says. I mean, if show choir is not changing or, evolving or getting better or getting, more ideas in it, why are we doing this? I mean, if we did the same thing every single year, I mean, oh.
Yeah, and it will always kind of follow, it's very tied to like pop culture, and it will always kind of follow the pop culture, because the whole point is that we're singing and dancing and, we're doing music that kids want to perform and kids want to learn and kids want to do, so that kids are involved in music. That's the whole point. So it's always going to kind of grow as the culture grows and change as the culture changes. And yeah, just be ready to keep rolling with the weirdness, because it doesn't stop.
Yeah, because when people like Alex and I are involved, it's going to get weird.
Yeah. Ain't it the truth? So,
did you see Marshall T? Our main man, Marshall T, is watching tonight. Shout out to Marshall T.
Shout out to the Marshman. Glad to see you tuning in. And Marshman wants to give a shout out to Millard North. Somehow Marshman has picked up on Millard North. So, shout out to Millard North.
So one of those, I am now seeing the video of the girl fainting during the show. Oh, it's a boy. The boy faints, but they've captioned it, "When you find out you won Grand Champ." I'm not laughing at you, person who fainted, but I mean, yeah. So.
Oh man. Well,
he
retweet
he
that.
straight up is he's fainted.
He has fainted.
I'm
That
glad.
sounded
I'm
British.
glad. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I'm British temporarily.
Stone Snowden says, "I think that if you have good vocals and choreography, then it doesn't matter if you have a theme show." Hello. If you sing and dance, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Next week, competition-wise, we've got Bishop Dwenger, Bloomington Kennedy, Davenport North, Findlay, Fishers, Lincoln East, Riverside, Sauk Prairie, Tallahassee, and West Mesa in New Mexico.
West Mesa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think we
so
passed that over there.
Adam, do we talk about one more thing here?
Yes.
I think we do talk about one more thing. And maybe you seem to understand it more specifically better than I do.
I mean, it's still I don't know.
That was me pawning it off.
Yeah, you were pawning it off me. And we've got, I don't know if you saw Anna tweet us. She thinks we should interview him, and I think that would be great. We're talking about Mark Greenberg from Traysona, who attended the Crete Moni show choir competition to police and make sure if show choirs had rights to music or not. I definitely would love to talk to him. Alex Wampler, who works with Show Choir Live as well, has apparently reached out to him and not heard anything. So, I mean, I think we should probably get on top of that so we can even better explain. I mean, we've touched on it in other episodes. We haven't fully gone into it. We talked about it with Kevin Manley, Finley's director. Sorry, I'm stuttering. Finley's director, just a brief bit on it, but obviously there's a lot of hearsay and things going on about this big battle of rights and music and owning the rights and paying for the rights, and about Traysona, this company who at one time was employing scare tactics with directors and programs, potential lawsuits. Obviously, some of that has kind of started to go away because people are basically abiding and paying and going through the right channels. But I definitely agree with Anna, and I think you and I both agree that a conversation further probably should be had. Anna makes a great point. If kids are going to be hearing about Traysona and Mark Greenberg at a competition, they need to know what's happening, and I definitely agree. I just want to make sure that I know 100% what I'm talking about beforehand, because all I know is Muscatine just handed money over and said, we want to be done with this and not worry about it. But I've heard other stories of, not so good things happening to programs and directors. And obviously at Crete Moni this weekend, apparently Crete was not able to perform one of their songs because they were alerted that they didn't have the rights to do it. So they were not able to perform a song. And I was told that from a director who attended. But yeah.
Yeah, it's that was sad to hear about Crete. That's when it starts to affect the kids directly like that. It's like, okay, I don't know. Adam, your screen is frozen. I'm screenshotting this. This is the funniest face imaginable. Oh no, I missed it.
Yes, thank God.
It was kind of like this face.
Oh.
It was just stuck, for quite a while. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's something to be aware of. it's something that is constantly talked about, among directors and choreographers and arrangers. And, the more the kids should be aware of what's going on, because now it's directly affecting their shows. It's directly affecting their competitions. It's directly affecting their performances. So, we'll see if we can talk to him. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm reading Wampler's conversation that he's having with Anna on Twitter right now, and he said that he's reached out to him. I'm trying his STC account, his email, everything. This guy isn't easy, but I think we can eventually humanely discuss with him. I agree. I mean, if he was at a competition I was at, I'm going to go up to him and talk to him. Like, I'm not going to be the one skulking and like being all, oh, there he is. Like, and no offense to people who did. I'm glad I got those pictures this weekend because, I had a little fun with it on Show Choir Live. But I definitely want to talk to him and ask him about all these things I've heard and, why. Yeah. So I hope he is at a competition I'm at. I'm sure, I would assume he would be at some of the big ones coming up that I will be at. So I'm not going to say those just in case he isn't. But I would love to chat with him and just, set something up, maybe get him on the show for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like Chris Jones just tweeted us and says, what kind of penalties can occur if you don't have the rights to your music? I have no idea what they
There's been lawsuits threatened against school districts, against programs. And of course, there was the big lawsuit against Anita Krakauer. She's an arranger in Minnesota, and she lost. And it costs money. Is costing her money. I don't know specifics, but yeah. So maybe, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't have a lot of the details of this, but it's something to be aware of, and maybe we can have him on the show to get some clarity. But I just have a suspicion that probably isn't going to happen. But we'll see. I will certainly try, and yeehaw, go Mark Greenberg from Cholsona.
So anyway, buddy, when are you going to get up to Minnesota?
I will be arriving Thursday. I believe I have a clinic with Bloomington Jefferson.
On Thursday?
Yep.
Nice. Have you worked with them before?
A few years ago, I went in with Baint and worked with them for like an hour. But I think we're setting up like a 2 hour with one group, 2 hours with the other group. And then I'll be at the contest on Saturday.
Nice. I will be with DeKalb tomorrow night. I'm at my parents' house in Auburn. I just drove my rental car over here from Columbus. And then after I rehearse with Classic Connection, I'm going to be driving right back to Columbus tomorrow night, and I have a 5 a.m. flight.
Oh, did Alex
preview show?
Oh, you froze a little bit.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah. We got a tweet too that just said this person sat next to him at Crete and we thought he was a judge because he was recording and on his iPad the entire time. Didn't find out until later when showchoir.com tweeted a picture. So, yeah.
But I was saying I'm going down to Enterprise super early Tuesday morning.
Oh, fun.
And, I'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they have a preview show Thursday night. And then I will fly from Montgomery to Minneapolis. So I will be there Friday at Bloomington. So, I guess I'll see you Friday. IRL, in real life. Are you rehearsing this week at all?
No, I don't. I have
Until
the week
Thursday.
off. I am prepping for the Iowa caucus, though, so that's exciting.
Like, what do you mean prepping for the Iowa caucus?
I just was saying I was prepping for the Iowa caucus. Thanks for blowing.
Okay, last week on the show, you mentioned some kind of interview with Yahoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, I'll tell you about it later," and then I never asked you about it. So what the heck is that all about?
On Wednesday, Yahoo News is interviewing me about my Bernie shirt. If anyone has seen it, it's on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Twitter as my pinned tweet. I have a Bernie Sanders shirt with his face all over it, and Bernie is in front of it. And they're interviewing me about politics, Bernie Sanders, and my Bernie shirt.
And when's that
What an
happening?
interview. That's happening Wednesday,
And it's mostly based on the shirt.
essentially.
Okay.
Or what
So
I'm
is it
being led
like,
to believe.
okay, so is it like they're just asking in general people from Iowa about the election? Because if you guys haven't been to Iowa lately or you don't live in Iowa, the election is very palpable. Like the second you walk into the state, it's everywhere.
I
So
had I had I had RCR boys who were waiting for the girls to be done getting ready, waiting in the hallway talking about politics. I mean, that doesn't happen. Like these, I'm just like, this caucus needs to be over. Donald Trump was at Muscatine High School today, giving a
today,
speech. Today, Bernie Sanders was there. 2 weeks ago, Hillary Clinton was in Marion today. They'll all be in Iowa City before the caucus. I mean, they're all over the place. You can't go to a city that has not had a candidate come through. It's nuts.
yeah, it's to get into the state, you can sense it. But okay, all right. So we'll look for that article and we'll tweet it when it comes out.
For sure.
I just wanted to ask you about that one. Anything else that you've got on your mind, Adam, or anybody else out there? I was just told by Zach Braithwaite to never let me say IRL again. So watch your mouth and your back. I'm getting threats from my friends about the IRL. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, so totally not related, but y'all should totally make t-shirts. Is this possible? Last year we sold t-shirts. We should do it again for this season.
Yeah, and actually, the link for t-shirts, which I will tweet now that there's some conversation about it. I'll tweet the link for t-shirts. It's actually the same link for last year. To start another run of production, I think we need to sell like 13, and as soon as we sell a batch of 13, then we can kind of open it up again. But we need to get like 13 pre-orders. So if you're interested in a Show Choir Live t-shirt, I'm going to tweet a link. And there actually, I think on the top right corner of the website, there should be a link that says t-shirts. But I'll double check that. I have not looked in a while. But I'll tweet the link for that. And they might be American Apparel. They're soft. They're good. But yeah. Let's get another round of t-shirts going. That would be amazing. I could use a new one. I think I wore mine out. Do you have a SEL t-shirt, Adam?
I do not. I forgot to order one last time, so I'm always jealous when I see people wearing them, and I feel like the worst Show Choir Live host in the history of Show Choir Live, but I already automatically am, so whatever.
That's definitely true.
You son of a... I just censored myself. I don't know. Whatever.
Nice beep. I think the beep means that it's time to turn it in for the evening.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, it's over, folks. So next Sunday, are you going to be in Bloomington, Minneapolis on Sunday as well?
Bloomington, Minneapolis, Sunday. I really do need to come home on Sunday because the caucus is the next day.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, well, I will still be in.
Oh, we can do Show Choir Live, and I'll get on the road.
We could do We could do Show Choir Live from Minnesota
together in
together.
IRL.
IRL. IRL. And yeah, cool.
All right.
What was the? What? You have Kermit with you now?
Yeah, Kermit's next to me.
Okay. Hey. I don't have Kermit, but I do have Thin Mints.
Shout out Twinsburg 2008 with this one right here.
Someone should do a Girl Scout cookie themed show.
Yeah.
That would be great.
We should do that with Prospect next year.
Actually, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll keep you updated. I'm going to tweet the link for t-shirts right now, so you can order them right now.
Peace out,
Thanks,
friends.
Show Choir World.
Thanks
We
for
love you.
joining us.
Bye, guys.